All right, peoples. All right, peoples. Welcome to the Evening People Show. It feels so weird when I'm not playing music, doesn't it? I know, right? Like, I feel weird about it. But then I realized a little bit ago that these people, these Facebook and YouTube peoples, were muting my video. Like, what's wrong with these people muting my video? You know what I mean? So I stopped playing the music. So now you're just stuck with me, I'm afraid. Hi everybody, welcome to the Evening People Show. If this is your first time joining the show, welcome. We have a really cool show today planned for you. My guest tonight is Miss Natoya Perkins. And I met her. How did I meet Natoya? I don't know. I met her a while ago. I think I was on her show. She has a show that she does. But before we get into that, if this is your first time, welcome. On this show, we meet people, we interview people, we definitely have some laughs all the time. And we usually try to spread positivity. You know what I mean? We usually try to create a scenario where you can see that, hey, you know what? I can go out there and do it too. If these regular schmegular people are doing it, I can do it. So, hey, strap in and enjoy the ride. We usually also cover some poetry on the show. The poetry typically comes from, I'm going to get this right today, watch me. The poetry typically comes from my book, right? Comes from my book called Love, Life, Confrontation, Expressions, Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man. It is a book of poetry. And it's available in Jamaica in Fontana pharmacies. It's available worldwide on Amazon.com. Search the title, search my name. You should be able to find it. It's a really cool book. I did a book tour recently, and I said to folks when they came up and asked about the book, I said, trust me, everybody that reads the book is going to have a moment in the book where they wonder where I was when I wrote it, because there's going to be something that they read that is going to be so specific to them that they're going to say, there's no way I don't know them. There's no way somebody now tell me something about them, because it speaks so specifically to their situation, because it's a real book about real things involving real people. All right. Well, welcome again. For the YouTube folks, I like to shout out the YouTube folks. Like, subscribe, share. We're trying to build this thing up so we can have some more fun doing what we do. All right, back to my guest. Natoya Perkins is going to be with me today. She is a woman of God. She's a CEO, business owner. She is a travel advisor. She is a teacher. She has taught on a couple different continents, in fact. She's a video editor. She's a YouTuber. And with my experience with her, she's really just an awesome person trying to be out there in the world amidst everything and doing what she does and making a difference. But without further ado, I'm going to invite my guest on here. Miss Perkins, you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
How are you doing today, my dear?
I'm good, Martin. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's lovely to see you. It's so funny. You are used to recording and editing behind the scenes and then post a nice picture perfect video. Me, I just go live and roll with it. Whatever pops up, I deal with it and we just go, right?
Yes, yes, so true, so true.
All right. It's lovely to have you though. So I'm gonna jump right into it here. The Let me see what I have here. You refer to yourself as, even if I look at your Facebook profile, the first thing it actually says there is Natoya Perkins, woman of God, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, what does that? A lot of these questions I'm going to ask you are multiple questions, so just kind of
Filtering,
absorb
filtering.
them all and give me what you got. Now, what does this mean to you, and why do you lead with that when you're asked who Natoya Perkins is?
First and foremost, thank you guys and Martin for having me here. For me, a woman of God is what defines me and what defines where I was and where I am and where I was coming from, right?
Mhm.
So it's a series of how I got where I am. And the first thing that comes from my mouth, as you rightly say, is that I am a woman of God. A woman of God is foremost a daughter of God, someone who has given their life completely, to serve the Lord, thy Father, the Holy Spirit, whichever one you guys will say, Abba Father or Jehovah. In I can relate John 1 verse 12 say, but to all who did receive Christ, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God.
He did.
Right. And I was one of those persons, at the age of 11 and or 12, somewhere around there, I gave my life to Christ. And from once you do that, you become a child of God, a man of God, a woman of God, whatever you want to put it.
Mhm.
So simply put, I am that woman who has been saved by the saving grace, Christ who died on the cross for us, I submit my work, whatever I do, as you mentioned, all those talented stuff that I do, that it just come by chance,
Right.
it's the Holy Spirit within me that leads me to do whatever I have accomplished or accomplish whatever I have done so far. I also seek to know more about God through reading his word, right? Communicating with him in prayer and fellowshipping with other people, believers, basically. And if, just like you, I'm talking with you, and my persona, my whole being must demonstrate that. And because I am a child of God, um, that's what it means to me. You're listening to sound teaching, and
Mhm.
those sound teaching, I have to apply them. It's just like if you are a teacher, like I'm a teacher by profession,
Right.
and I go to work, I am a teacher. My body, just the way I'm talking now, demonstrate teaching, you
See
know.
that? See that?
My mom always said to me when I was living back in Jamaica, when I'm talking, I'm speaking very firmly. She said, "Don't speak to me like one of your students in your class." So it's the same thing, once you become a child of God or in any entity or you believe in a higher being, you start behaving, you start doing and living according to that. So the principles, whatever you see me do, I am not fake. I just do it because this is who I am. And because I have Christ in me, living inside of me, that Holy Spirit guides me and teaches me how to be a good person, just a general good person. I know that I'm equipped by seeking the Holy Spirit, seeking God's word, as I mentioned earlier, to read the word of God and,
Mhm.
then obey the commandments,
Mhm.
that
I
to
like
live
it. I like it.
Christ.
I like
Yes.
it. Bless up, Shannon. I know Shannon would have checked in. You're Shannon at BFF. Greetings, Shannon. Bless up yourself,
Hi,
my friend.
Shannon. Thanks for
I
joining.
had him on the show too. Shannon did well when he was on.
Yeah.
Kenya Bocha is in New York as well. Blessings, peoples. Now, you were born in Kingston. In Kingston,
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica. You grew up Maxfield Avenue, Seaview Gardens back in the day. Now, what was it like growing up in Kingston at that time?
Well, growing up in Kingston, what I remember is that first I was living in Seaview Gardens with my parents, and then they got separated. So Seaview Gardens was the best wonderful time of my childhood. You play on the road, you walk barefoot, and you didn't have I didn't have slippers. We were poor, but we were happy. I believe that
It's
we
so
were
funny. Can
happy.
I say something here? It's so funny how people who grew up poor, that
Yes,
kind of way, how somehow those are the times that we enjoy.
yes,
Walking barefooted, being outside, some of these things that people now would look at as depravity.
yes,
They
yes.
were fun. Walking home
Hmm.
from school, even when rain and fall, I walk home. So you
Yes.
look back at those things with fun memories, right?
That's right. That's right. So barefooted, as you mentioned, it was fun, going to Tarrant Primary School. Um, when the rain falls, as you mentioned, I realized when rain fall and my little sister and I, we usually go home, we take off the shoes because we can't make the shoes, get destroyed as you don't have any to wear for the rest of the year.
Yes.
So that's just my life living in Kingston. And then when I moved to live with my mom at the age of, I think, 6 to Sunlight Street, 6, 7, somewhere around there.
Hmm.
We live with my mom and a whole other family, extended family. And that was a little bit sheltered because that area was more vile, volatile, sorry. And my mom used to make sure that we keep inside that around that area. You used to have teenagers getting pregnant and all these things. So I was a little bit more sheltered there. So
Hmm.
we didn't have much fun, but every summer we look forward to go to Daddy in Seaview Gardens. So basically that's my life. And then eventually, couple years later, my mom finally got a home. That's another story, but we got a home in Portmore. And we go catch fish. Even in Seaview Garden, we walk barefoot. We go down to the gully. Those who remember the gully, and we
Right.
catch the little ticky fish, the small fishes. And that's just my life. It was fun. I was happy. We didn't know that we were really poor because we were having
Only
fun
life you
and
knew. Yeah, that's the
yes, and
only
we
life
were
you knew.
eating
Yes.
exactly.
Right. And you know what, Natalia, I like the way you've put your responses so far, because that's what I want people to really see and understand. That there's a lot of folks out there now that have done things that
Mhm.
where they're coming from is really nowhere to speak of per se. It's just that they have driven themselves. They had a drive, they were motivated, and they were able to accomplish much, right?
Right, right.
Now you, for example, you currently have a diploma in early childhood education. You have a bachelor's in primary education.
Hmm.
Now, but your journey to this point was not along conventional lines per se. Walk me through how you got here.
All right. So, how I got to where I am, it was a struggle. I'm telling you. As I mentioned, we were not so very rich, in the middle class. We were in the lower class. Um, Going to primary school, I didn't pass no common entrance. Hi, my sister. Thanks for joining. I look professional. Okay,
There
let me
you
answer
go.
the question. Thank you. So primary school, I have five brothers and sisters, and I'm the fifth first child. First of all, it was a struggle, academically for me. I was bright in the first two grade, second grade, first to second grade, and then that was it. So I went through the 6 years of primary school without any common entrance at the time. It's GSAT now. So, but all my siblings got their common entrance. So, I was the smallest in body size. I was just shy, so I felt I had low self-esteem at that time. So, you know, make it worse, I did not pass my exams. So I was going to the worst school. Those who lives in Kingston, you remember Big Tarrant. At the time, Big Tarrant, now I think it is some secondary Tarrant secondary or something like that.
Hmm.
But we used to call it Big Tarrant. It was the worst school because it's beer gunman used to go there.
Oh my word.
So my mother said to me, I send you to school, whatever you come out with, that's what you're going to get. So, everybody going to the top in our top schools and stuff. I went to Tarrant Secondary, the feeder school.
Mhm.
And I was progressing for a while until my brother was working at Queens High School and he got a transfer for me. And that it was a nice change, but I was sad. So high school was the worst experience for me. I was provoked by my nose, the way my nose looked. I was called plug nose. My mom didn't have the right color material to purchase for the Queen's uniform, which is light gray.
Mhm.
Was a very dark gray. So that again now make it worse. And then
You
she did.
stood out.
So I stood out on top. So high school was worse, and then I went through those 6 years without passing my common entrance, my CXCs.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
7 subjects and got zeal. My brother came home and said, Toya, you got the highest in the school. I can laugh now because of where I am.
So how
Um,
did you come back from that?
how do I it took me a while because as I said, I had low self-esteem back then. The low self-esteem had brought me into a shell, even worse. Seeing my family progressing above me. And so after high school, my mom said to me, you're not staying in here as a housewife because I
Well, let me interject here. Now, what you just mentioned mom. Now, mom had a saying, and she would say, never stay where you started, but bloom and grow beyond. Now,
right.
how did that saying from mom help to channel you and help you to get to even where you are now?
So it was said in another way, but basically that's what she was saying that
Mhm.
right. So I remember that time when what hit me, it didn't hit me at the time, but I knew I had to do something. We were at the bus stop in Portmore one day. I don't remember the age, and she said to me, Toya, I know you see everybody passing you, but everybody just repeat those words that you mentioned. And then she said, everybody blessing don't come in the same basket. You
Mhm.
have to. She counseled me at the time and waiting on the bus, and she talked to me at that time, and I felt loved. I felt a connection with my mom at that time, and that's when that was one of the push and the drive that
Mhm.
made me went back to school. You know, to do my subjects one by one until I got it. And just to make it clear, I did math 5 times.
Wow.
Yes. So people would say your head tough, but at the time I really, really did not understand. And then I was so shy that I don't think I welcome person. My brother, my sisters used to say that I don't give them the feeling to want to help me because I was shut down once they come because I know they are brighter than me, or so I feel like they're at the time I felt like they were trying to make me look bad, but that's not what they were doing, right?
Mhm.
So I went back to school in my late 20s, start doing my subjects one by one, but I was working part-time as a teacher without any subjects. So that's where my life started, where I got a job as a teacher. Somebody recommended me and say, here is a go, you can go there. And I went there the first day. The person said, okay, you're going to start. And from that day, one, because I got it, I said, I don't have any subject and I'm teaching. It's just weird. So, I start pushing myself and I'm going to school, you know, didn't have any money because my mom says after 18 years
Yes. No, 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 my girl. From them time your parents spend that one money there. If you don't get it the first time, you ain't gonna get it again.
you're on
Make
your
it a
own.
what?
Yes,
My mother tell me that too. If you don't get it that first go around, that's it.
exactly. So I had to pull up my socks and get the show on, going and did my subjects, no matter
Mhm.
how long it took. And I think I started college. I did my subjects and I got a chance to go to college. And I still didn't have all the subjects, but that was again the divine intervention of the Holy Spirit, because you cannot go to teachers college. You know yourself as a teacher. You have to have 5 CXC subjects.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college with 3 CXC subjects, went through all 4 years part-time with 3 CXC subjects.
Wow.
And at the last part, they said that to graduate, I needed 2. So I would have still got my papers, but I
You
wanted to
got
go.
them to graduate.
I would have gotten to the graduation.
Right.
I mean, my certificate, but I wanted that joy to be in the cap and gown and feel, with everybody, that accomplishment. So I pushed myself at the lab. I'm doing end of year exam at Teachers College and pushing myself, going back to school to study for those 2 subjects that I needed.
Mm-hmm. And let me interject here, because I think I didn't mention on the show, I was talking to a group of kids, actually North Carolina. A friend of mine that lives there had me talk to her class via Zoom recently, and I was talking to them and I told them that I got fired from my first job the first day.
Yes.
The first day, at the end of my first job, the boss called me and gave me my pay for the day and told me she doesn't think I'm what they're looking for.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
And I said to her, you know what? I don't think that's what we're going to do here today, because you were not clear as to what you wanted me to do. So if you didn't get the result you wanted, it's because the instructions weren't clear. So
Right.
let's do this instead. Tell me now what you want me to do. And if I don't do it tomorrow, then you can
Then you
fire
can
me. You can
fire
fire
me.
me at the end of
Exactly.
tomorrow. Right?
That's right.
And
Yes.
2 weeks later, I was promoted.
Wow.
You understand now? And listening to you now, and there are persons out there who several steps along the way, they would have quit, they would have stopped, they would have said no, they would have allowed their low self-esteem or
Yeah.
whatever they had, whatever issue they had, to make them stop along the wayside. So to listen to hear you now, like Shannon said, just look at you now. Right?
Look at
let,
me
me,
now.
let me put that
Yay.
back up there. There goes Shannon, say, just look
Just,
at you now. Wow.
yes,
Right?
Shannon. Yes,
And I agree.
yes.
I totally agree with him, because there are several persons, Natoya, who along the way never even had it the way you had it. They probably even
Yeah.
had it easier, but they stopped.
Yeah.
They stopped. They gave up. They figured out, okay, I can't, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Right? So
So true.
I really, really am appreciative of you sticking to it. I'm going through the process, because all right, now let's look at this here now. And you can join, because I know you were finished, but you can pick up where you left off and move
Yeah,
into this. In
that's fine.
2016, you moved to Japan to teach
Yeah.
English, right? Tell me about that experience and what brought you now even to the USA still teaching.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Japan was not a plan. It wasn't something planned. I remember the day when I said it to the vice principal to say, like, I got a job in Japan, and she was like, Japanese, you can speak. I said, no, but this is it. But again, as I said, I'm a woman of God. One day I was just frustrated with what was happening at the school that I just felt uncomfortable, and it was time to go. Anytime I feel this way, I know it's the Holy Spirit in me prompting me to do something. I've always said I've never wanted to teach overseas. I must put all my energy and support my own country.
Mm-hmm.
So that was me. I never wanted to work overseas, but I love to travel, but not to work overseas. And one day I lay in my bed a Saturday morning, and the Holy Spirit said, it's time. It is time. And he has done that throughout the time for me to get all those jobs in Jamaica and whatever. That's how he speaks to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time. And my brother actually applied to go to Japan with his wife. And he was telling us about it, the Christmas. And he was like, Toy, you should do it, man. But I was focused on Dubai, because I saw the benefits through Dubai. So I said, you guys can all talk. I ain't going to know Japan. I want to go to Dubai. But somehow Dubai was not coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And I applied, and my brother and his wife didn't get through. I got through.
Wow.
I got a call, and then my sister applied to and got through. So both of us went to Japan. So that's the process of how I end up in Japan. So it wasn't nothing planned, or anything. So I end up in Japan. That experience was good. I don't know if you want me to get into
Yes,
that.
tell us about Japan. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody in Japan. Well, I know Black Rose in Japan, but tell us about Japan.
Japan, where I went, I was in Sapporo City. It was very cold. So it was far, far away from where my sister was, so it was very cold, about 7 to 8 months of snow nonstop.
Wow.
But it was in the first year, it was like, oh my God, I only see snow on TV. So it was beautiful. It was awesome. It was a good experience. I remember one day I met some Jamaican teachers there too. And we went into Sapporo City in the main city, and we sat there, and no, a matter of fact, we stood in the middle of the road, and I was like, look at me in foreign. When I look, I've never, not, we know as Jamaicans, we don't have those tall, high-rising
Right,
buildings.
right.
So I look up and I turn around and I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. Look at me in foreign. I'm living in
You
foreign.
arrived. You arrived.
We reach now. So it was a good experience. I had some great friends there. Teaching in Japan English with the Japanese teachers and kids was phenomenal. I enjoy teaching there because the kids enjoy me because, as you see me going on and laughing and behaving like crazy, that's just me. And they enjoy my class. When I'm coming in, they will say, "Yay, Natoya-san,"
That's I
So,
understand.
so they enjoy me, and I enjoyed the lessons. And the teachers will take me out to, like, when we have holidays or they have some teacher brunch, they will take me out and we eat and stuff. And
Excellent.
then one day, 2 years later, I lay in my bed again, and the Holy Spirit says, "It's time."
Time to move again.
Because I wanted to stay there. I was like, oh, I'm not going back to Jamaica now. This is too sweet. That was a plan. And right after I renewed my visa, that first year, I just felt it's time to go now. And that's how I end up here. And it has been good so far. The experience is mixed feeling,
Right.
but it's new. I thought that because I work overseas, it would be a little bit more easier here in the school system, but it's a little tedious. But now I'm, getting the hang of it after COVID and stuff. But
Okay. Very well.
that's my
Very
life
good,
in
Natoya.
a
Very good.
nutshell.
Very good. Now tell me about Natoya, the CEO, the business owner. Like, what kind of business? So like I say, I'm just going to throw you a whole bunch of questions. What kind of business is it? How did you get started? How is it doing? How can people find you or find your business?
All right. So, yes, I basically a travel business owner. And I also help other family members to do the same. Right. So if you want, you can link me up. I'll give you the link later. But basically help family. I sell travel individually, and I also sell the travel agency, and by selling that travel agency, other persons earn income, commission from that travel. And also, if they become to do what I am doing as a rep, they will earn additional streams of income, like 7 to 8 streams of income. So basically, that's what, in a nutshell. If you need more information, you can contact me. Let me see if I can find my things. I don't remember all of these things.
I know every minute I see you have a new page.
I have a new page, yes. So find me on IG, Instagram at Natoya_Perkins. My Facebook profile at Natoya.Perkins.7. Travel with Perks group, and my Travel with Perks page at Travel with Perks 39. YouTube, you can find me on YouTube too, where I do my own interviews. Like Martin is doing now. So I interviewed Martin before, at Natoya Real Talk, and my business channel is Natoya Perkins. So check
All
me out
that,
on
huh?
all of those and send me a message.
Mhm.
Let me know what you need and how can I help you.
Now tell me a little more about the YouTuber, Natoya the YouTuber, about your channel on YouTube, um, and just how that is going and what you do on there.
Well, as I mentioned that I do interviews. So basically the interviews are like person sharing their life story, like I'm basically doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So they tell their life story to encourage other persons who have been going through this, who is going through the same thing or who have been, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe somebody can be encouraged from the life story. And a lot of persons have messaged me to say, this was really good, and they will pray for the person if they are going through something or whatever it is. So basically, it's just sharing their life story. And hopefully, this summer, I'll be doing some interviews with couples. So it's love and relationships.
Nice. Sounds
And
good.
yes, so persons will be sharing how it is going, as married couples or even just, boyfriend or girlfriend, spouses, sharing life experience as a couple, and what are some of the bits and tips that they can give to persons who are embarking into that or desiring to be in a relationship, or those who are already in the marriage for over 10 years, 20 years.
I need some seasoning.
I need some season up because some of us still living as me are talking quiet. Some of them living as brothers and sisters. So we need some
Okay.
spice.
Later. Spice.
So
Now,
yes.
what else can we look forward to from Natoya Perkins? What projects are you working on? What else can we see coming from you in the near future?
Well, I taught myself how, just to put that out there, I taught myself how to, that's one thing that I've never thought I would do. No matter where I came from, as you mentioned, that some people give up.
Mhm.
I never stop. Once I start something, I am going to finish. I'm going to try to finish it. So starting my YouTube channel, I taught myself how to do editing. So if you go on my channel, you see all those editing. It was done by me. I didn't pay anybody to do it. So yes, so that's one thing, one project that I have embarked on. So I can edit person. I've been editing Mr. Shannon's little videos, and he post them on Facebook, and people
They're good. They're good. I saw him. I saw one the other day where he walked up and was saying something. That was good. I like that. That was very good, actually.
so I edit about a few of them. So if you like those, I am here.
That's good.
So that's one project. I need to start getting paid, Shannon. So
I'll let you take that up with him.
yes. And also I have written a book while I was in Japan.
Nice.
Yes, so I written a children's book. So it is now at the the publisher. Hopefully, things will come to pass soon. So look out for that.
Excellent.
Yes, so that's one of the things that I'm the major project that is up front now. And just look, find me on my page, see what I'm doing, and we who knows? I don't know where God is taking me next. He might wake me up tomorrow and say, "Toy, it's time."
Time to move.
What?
Man, I tell you,
And I will.
I like them something. I like them something. That's like an ESP type deal. All right. Natoya, thank you so much. I didn't know where this was gonna go, but I like where it's going.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you're consistent. You work,
Yeah.
you pick yourself up when necessary, you apply yourself, and you keep
Mhm.
moving. I think persons out there can really take an example from you and say, hey, everybody's gonna fall at some point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I said, I myself got fired the first day of my first job. I could have go home and cry about it and say, "Oh my God, look how long we want to work, get to work, and get fired the first day." No, you pick yourself
Yes.
up and you keep moving. And persons can definitely take an example from you. Now,
Yeah.
who is that's finally here now? We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you with a Carrie Ann. Am I saying that right?
Carry on,
Yes,
Purser.
Carrie Ann Purser. Why,
Thank you,
thank you for
Carrie Ann.
joining. Thank you for joining. And you know what? You're just in time because Here on the Evening People show, we actually read some poetry. And we're at the poetry point of the show now. So the rest of it, Carrie, and you're gonna have to rewind and watch Natoya's story, because it's a really good story and there's definitely takeaways that everybody can take away from it. But Carrie Ann and the rest of the viewers, we're at the poetry reading part of the show now. So, Miss Perkins, what are you going to be reading for the folks today? And for you that don't know, the poetry that is going to be read comes from my book. There's a copy of it posted behind me there. It's called Love, Life, Confrontation, Expressions, Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man, available in Fontana pharmacies in Jamaica and worldwide on Amazon.com. I want to tell you, Amazon Kindle Publishing send me a like a check with in euros. Mr. Ray, watch me get some
Nice.
euros. So yeah, no, big up to the people of Europe and that side of the world that representing the Chronicles of a Black Man. Enough blessings. All right, Miss Natoya, what are you gonna read for us today?
All right. So I'm going to read Confessions.
Confessions.
Yes.
Now, for those of you that have the book, Confessions actually has two. There's two confessions. I don't know where this author have to confess so much. But I think this Confessions is part one, and that's on page 35 of the book. So when you are ready, my dear, go for it.
All right. So Confessions. I don't even know if I'm going to be reading this like how it's supposed to be read.
But here's the thing. Here's the beauty about this. When I have persons on the show, their perspective is what I want. So you don't have to actually say it the way I say it. You don't have to interpret it the way I interpret it either. Your interpretation of it is what I'm looking for. So go for it when you're ready, my dear.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can have the poetry voice and not the teacher voice. Okay. Confessions. How can I owe you what I've already paid? Bold enough to express the need to get laid.
That's why you can't laugh. Come on now.
Sorry. All right. Let's go again. Confessions.
No, actually, you can't. Well, start over, because you laugh too early in a show. The show just started.
All right, let's go. All right. Confessions. How can I owe you what I've already paid? Bold enough to express the need to get laid. Witty enough to tell you that I miss you. Coy enough to make you believe it's true. Reading between the lines to deduce the meaning. Missing your touch and truly feeling. Filling the void with stolen moments. Consuming the mind with time well spent, infiltrating the mind for its hidden treasures, indulging the body in forbidden pleasures, questioning the motives and the end result, deep in meditation like a Shaolin monk, life-altering changes inspired by a moment, a glimpse of the future, 2 seconds spent, a perspective derived from someone new. Dissecting the relevant data, issue. A desire to explore the unknown, getting to the bottom of things shown, enjoying the time spent, ignoring the rules bent, holding on to the fleeting reality, understanding there's no you and me, dreading the moment the memories fade. Though I couldn't, wishing I'd stay. Now these lines are all I have, my keepsake of what we had, my memories of our time of bliss, my potential for true happiness. From the Chronicles of Rasta book. Oh, I had to laugh the first time.
Yes. You see, and that was definitely not your teacher voice. That was not your teacher voice at all.
I'm
But
a
you nailed
talented
it.
person.
You totally nailed it. You did a very good job reading that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now the title of the poem is Confessions. And Carrie Ann say it hot, boy. Carrie Ann say it hot. Let's see if we can get
Don't do
into
anything tonight.
Let's see if we can get into it here, Carrie Ann. Now, the title of the poem is Confessions. And like I said from the start, I'm just going to throw questions at you.
Right.
So now, who is confessing What are they confessing? Who are they confessing to? Is there a confession taking place at all?
All right. What I'm thinking is that I would think a female. Why? Because in one stanza it mentioned he.
Okay.
All right. So I would say a female is basically speaking here. It could be confessing, but then in the midst of it, it's like she's thinking to herself, maybe confessing to herself,
Okay.
of what she has been through, what she's going through, or what she's going to have to do. So I think it's like her mind, in her mind, she's thinking or confessing to her, her own self. Basically, yeah.
Okay, so there is a confession taking place. We're saying there's a female confessing. She's confessing certain things that she's done to herself. That's what okay, great. That's a good start. Let's start right here. So I want to big up Jacqueline Samuels and Orville Perkins, which I'm sure some of your people them.
Yeah, my brother.
Best of yourself, Orville. Jacqueline, thanks for joining. Now, I'm gonna reread the first stanza. All right. And what I want you to do for me is describe the mood in this stanza. Is it playful banter? Is one person actually upset? I want you to tell me what's actually going on. Now, stanza 1 says, how can I owe you what I've already paid? Bold enough to express the need to get laid. Witty enough to tell you that I miss you. Coy enough to make you believe it's true. What's going on here?
It was when I read it, I have a variety of things happening in my head. First, I thought the person was a player.
Okay.
The man that she's talking to. It could be the same thing, but I'm just going to put all the things.
Yes, please. Yeah, you're my professional. You see, you ever seen in court when you watch them shows and they have what they call them a professional witness that come on, somebody that they bring on for their expertise. This is why you're here. You're here for your expertise. So let's hear it.
All right. So first, I thought that the person she's referring to is a player. You know, because she mentioned that first he's like how can he's like missing you, but you don't believe in it, right? So it's like a player or something going around there, something just not too right. We all, women and male, have been through that. So, and also I think the mood is also, did you ask about the mood, right?
Yes, the mood in stanza 1. Yes,
ma'am. The mood is a lost and gain.
Okay.
A lost and gain thing, time of reflection, thinking the person is being frank, open, honest, maybe disregarding what the other person thinks, how can I question, how can I owe you?
What I've already paid. What I've already paid, right?
As my brother is online, say, we get the thing already.
We get the thing already.
So I get it already. Why should I pay? I don't owe you anything, bold enough to express the need to get laid. So I tell you what I want already. So I think it's kind of like a mixed thing, like a player.
Well, let me throw something at you. Let me throw something at you here, my dear. So sometimes I think this is I think let's get the think part. I'm not putting this forward as a professional opinion of any sort. But sometimes, I think like sometimes, especially females, they think that men should do certain things for them. Right? So it's like they think that men should, take them out, wine and dine, all these things, buy this, buy that. And I'm not saying every female feels that way, but some females do. Right. So how could it be something like that where he's saying, how can I owe you when I've already paid? Bold enough to express a need to get laid. So no, I'm not spend nothing more upon it. I done spend already. I don't spend already, but I spend more.
Yeah, because he has already, to me, I think he or she, they think the person who is speaking at that moment would be saying, I already carry on date, do all the things to get what I need. So why should I? There's no attachment there, you know. Hi, Mrs. Gordon. Thank you, mums. Yeah. So why should I even bother to go further? I already spent all the money I need to spend to get you. You know, I get laid already.
Whoa, all
Try
right,
to
you
get
know, may I stop you before you put yourself in that trouble, miss. Prim, big up yourself. Rosemary, big up yourself as well, my dear. All right, so check this out. Let's keep this ball rolling before you put yourself in that trouble.
stuck.
So that stanza one. Now, I'm gonna reread two and three, but I
Mhm.
want you to bear these questions in mind as I reread two and three. It
Right.
says, how would you describe the situations mentioned in stanzas two and three? There seem to be several different descriptions of the same thing. What is that thing? Now, let me read them. Stanza 2 says, reading between the lines to deduce the meaning, missing your touch and truly feeling, filling the void with stolen moments,
Mhm.
consuming the thoughts with time well spent, infiltrating the mind and its hidden treasures, indulging the body in forbidden pleasures,
Mhm.
questioning the motives and its end result, deep in meditation like a Shaolin monk. Now, the question is, um, what is the question here? There seems to be there seems to be the author here is using several different descriptive scenarios to address one thing. What is that thing that he's addressing?
I think the person, the author is the mind. You know how
Mhm.
you portray things, how much you are. You know, like females love to overthink. Sometimes we overthink things and we go in depth to pinpoint out what is going on.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the person is ready, already thinking about what could happen, what couldn't happen, about the situation. Maybe just simply overthinking stuff,
Okay.
so I think the mind is at work
Mhm.
at that point there.
Well, how about let me read the first two lines of stanza 3. It says, infiltrating the mind for its hidden treasures, indulging the body in forbidden pleasures. What
Hmm.
what is this
Yes,
about?
I not to get myself in trouble.
No, no.
I was
Well,
thinking something, but I said I'm not
no,
going to
that's
put
why.
it
Well, here's
down.
the thing. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. For all the viewers out there that are viewing now or who will view later,
Right.
Natoya Perkins is hereby absolved of anything that she will share on the show because I have her on here for her professional opinions. And when she shares them, no matter how they look or sound or feel, I am the one requesting this from her. So she's absolved of any responsibility associated with. Okay? So you're good now, my girl. Go ahead and tell me what you actually think.
So because the mind is at work, right?
Mhm,
I think sexual pleasures, as it mentioned, forbidden
mhm,
pleasures, maybe masturbation. She, putting
mhm,
herself through that because you're not going to be able to do what you want to do
mhm,
because it's not it's not readily there because the mind is telling you that you miss the person and all these things we're going to talk about. And in reading everything, I think the person at that time, in that deep meditation of Charlene Monk, masturbation put you into another realm of
Well, all
feeling.
right. Let me throw something else at you. Let me throw something else at you here. What about the last two lines of the previous stanza that
Previous.
says fill in the void with stolen moments,
Mm-hmm,
consuming the thoughts with time well spent. So you're
mm-hmm.
saying this time well spent is time spent with themselves, not time spent with someone else.
Hmm.
I'm sure it is saying that the mind is lost in and what's this fantasizing. Um,
Yeah.
let what's Kerry saying? It's a figure of speech. Kerry had to say it's a figure of speech. Okay, I feel
But
you.
it could be a figure of, yeah, because It could, in the stanza you just read, the last two, filling the void with stolen moments.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, and consuming the mind with time well spent. It, as you said, it could be with the person themselves, as masturbation, or they are doing forbidden pleasures because they're reminiscing
Okay,
on
okay.
what was happening, what had
What
happened, or
happened?
what the
Right.
relationship was going.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yes, we get it so weirdo, people. We get it so weirdo. Now, here's what I want you to do for me. I want you to reread the first two lines of stanza 4. And I'm gonna ask you if you've ever experienced such a moment. Do
Hmm.
moments like these still exist? And are they usually lasting moments? So I want you to, I'll ask you them one at a time. I don't want to bombard you, but reread the first two lines of stanza 4 for me, please.
Stanza 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Life altering changes inspired by a moment, a glimpse of the future through seconds spent. Life altering changes. Life
Life
altering
altering changes.
changes inspired by a moment.
Mhm. A
So,
glimpse of the future through time spent. So the questions are, have you ever experienced such a moment, and do these moments still exist?
yes, I have and still am.
Okay, great.
Those moments, you have plenty of these times when it can be good moments and bad moments. And
Okay.
in this time, she could be thinking of or the time they had together, right? And that one thing changes everything. It's like, just like I said, I lay in my bed and I just felt like it was just time to do something,
Okay.
change,
Okay.
right? So in that moment, I think the author is trying to say that something happened that is going to allow her to make a big life change
Okay. So,
for
so,
the
so
future
is
to
this one
come.
of those? Is this one of those love at first sight type scenarios?
Uh, It could be because I think at the time she has started to like the person, and then she started, we say infatuation. So she's going into that place where she's now falling head over heels with the person,
Mhm.
overthinking and thinking. The mind now starts to work, and she start remembering all these lovely moments. I have been there where the person come to you and, as you mentioned, ask me, if these things have happened to me. Yes.
Mhm.
I start thinking, Lord, I wonder if we're going to get married. I wonder if he's going to be my boyfriend. I wonder if something, and I'm going to the depths of seeing us married, going down the.
Your mind run gone a long time.
So I think I was able to connect with the poem because the mind tends to make you overthink and go into a different realm, and then you start falling in love with someone that doesn't even,
You
it's
don't
just a
register. You don't
place.
register on their scale, and somehow you all the
No,
way down the track already, and
exactly,
them still in the
exactly.
starting block, eh?
That's
Okay.
right.
Natoya, you're so good at this. It's almost like you rehearsed. Now, now let's do this. And I said no to who did that? Carrie Ann. I'm not sure what you're saying, Carrie Ann. Clarify that for me, my dear. And Pauline, I see you about it could be an affair. I see where you're going with that. Sure, and it's saying it could be a memory. I see where you're going with that as well. Now, let's do this. Um, there was another question that I had for the time. Are these life altering moments usually lasting moments, or are they usually fleeting moments?
Just fleeting. It never lasts. It,
Okay.
it, it will be there for a while until something can come in your life,
Mm-hmm.
change that or remove that feeling. So like
No,
newness.
but not Toya, not
That's
Toya, my
me.
dear.
That's just me.
What about? So are you saying that love at first sight doesn't exist? Or is love at first sight not lasting because you can have the love at first sight, but it doesn't last? So what do you say?
All right. So I believe that it's possible for love and for at first sight to happen,
Uh-huh.
where you are able to just fall in love with the person head over heels, and it
Mm-hmm.
lasts for
Carrie Ann
like
says no, by the way. Carrie Ann, that's what she was saying no to. She's saying no, it doesn't
love
exist.
at first sight. Okay, so I am on the fence about it because
Okay.
it never happened to me yet. So I would, for me, I'm a like a inventor, so I have to go through a series of things and knowledge to know if I'm in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if the person falls in love with the person, it can last, as I said, but if something else better comes along, that that feeling of like, oh, but we never really loved that person.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it could be that yeah, so it's a mixed feeling,
So could it
as I
be,
said.
let me ask you this, could it be dependent on where you are at the time? And I'll expand on that. Sometimes, I mean, when a female or a male,
Mm-hmm.
they're good. They're good. They're wholesome within themselves, them self-love up and everything nice. And they're less susceptible to falling for anyone.
Yeah,
Okay. And then the
I
next
understand.
time when them probably lonely and them not feel too up and not too go on, they're more susceptible to actually falling for
Mm-hmm.
someone, what I mean? So could it be based on just where you are at as the individual?
It could, yes, it definitely can, as stanza 3 mentioned the Charlene monk, where they are, forbidden pleasures. So it could be somebody who probably have, it's not really low self-esteem, but I can attest to sometimes when you are in a place of loneliness and you just start to think that I need this, I need something in my
You're more
life.
susceptible. You're more
Yeah,
susceptible to
you are
certain things.
right. You're receiving all the feelings and not stopping, right? So it's like, so I don't think it's real love because your mind is making you think it's real love because you're lonely and you're in a place of, as you said, you don't have self-love at that time. So
Mhm.
anything is possible with you. You are like a leaf in the wind. Yeah.
Okay. Infatuation. You and Kerry and oh no, oh boy, most friend long time. 'Cause I told no have the same opinion about everything. No, let's do this. Let's look at let's move to stanzas 5 and 6. They kind of give us a synopsis of the dynamic between the characters in the poem. And I'm gonna reread as well, but I'm gonna ask you what can we deduce about the nature of the relationship that they have or had? And that was
Mm-hmm.
stanzas 5 and 6. Now, 5 says a desire to explore the unknown,
Hmm.
getting to the bottom of things shown, enjoying the time spent, ignoring the rules bent, holding on to fleeting reality, understanding that there's no you and me, dreading the moment the memories fade, though I couldn't, wish I'd stayed. Now, what can we deduce about the nature of the relationship that these two have or had?
They were just having fun and she just took it to another level, or the author took it to another level. So they were just having fun, relaxing, because as it says that just doing stuff, spending time together. Let me go back to it again. Say just spending time with each other and ignoring rules bent, which means when people say, when a guy come to you or a girl, and say, listen, there's no strings attached. No strings attached. So I may be going off tangent, Martin, but
No, well, you
so
see, as usual, Carrie
and
Ann is
then
with you. No, no, not Carrie Ann. Pauline is with you this time. So she has somebody else. So
exactly.
she has
So
somebody else. What?
exactly, because she said in one of the stanza here, let me find it. We're all above, I think is the fourth one, that she says something new. This a perspective derived from someone new.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that now at that time she's now realizing that it can't be, because dreading the moment the memories fade, holding on to the fleeting reality, understanding that there's no you and me. So now she has come to a realization, because at the top in the fourth stanza it tells you that dissecting a perspective derived from someone new. So as I mentioned, that sometimes it's when you get a new person in your life or a new reality, you start realizing that there's no you and me. We were just playing around, we were just having fun. So right now, let's just say goodbye. That song itself.
Let's just say
Just
goodbye.
say.
I do know that song.
So I think that's where the author was going with that. So they were just seriously having fun, and there was nothing more than that. But she, in the beginning, was going to the Charlene Monk meditation section, overthinking, and then with a new person in mind, as my sister says, she have
Pauline, you have no behavior. Pauline, you have no behavior. Pauline, you have no behavior. Pauline, you don't have no behavior. Behave yourself.
a Perkins with him.
Ah,
The man now left his wife.
he was not like his wife. You
Yes.
understand?
Flirting, cheating. Yes, yes, yes. So they were flirting, gallivanting, and then she, as I'm, all the other stages above mention about she, using the mind to go into a different realm and meditating on the pleasures,
Mm-hmm.
and the memories of the person. So I think now she, as Pauline says, she find man.
She played one. So okay, well, all right. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting. You see, there's something I wanna like. Wanna feel behave on yourself.
That's why this was a good one for me, you see.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna reread the last stanza. You see, we reach our last stanza on of behave, and I want you to tell me what the mood is and why you think this is the mood. The last stanza says, "Now these lines are all I have, my keepsake of what we had, my memories of our time of bliss, my potential for true happiness." What is the mood of this last stanza? Why do you think this is the mood? Whatever you decide the mood is.
I think she's I don't know if this is a word for using as mood, but I think she has now accept, a sense of acceptance and moving forward,
Mhm.
looking to something new to happen, that is going to happen to her. She wants, a potential for true future. As Pauline said, she find man or whatever it is. So she ready to move on now. So she just saying, okay, all right, we have this wonderful time together. I will keep them as memories.
Mhm.
All the wonderful time we have, but in stanza 6 says, we are, I know there's no you and me anymore, so let's
Mhm.
move on. I am ready to move on, and I'm ready to look forward. As you mentioned earlier, that she probably have a sense of low self-esteem, or maybe she doesn't have a self of love. Well, the author, she or he,
Mhm.
and the person now come to a realization that I need to move forward to get my true happiness.
Right.
So a sense of acceptance, a sense of moving forward is what I would,
Yeah,
place.
she's realizing that, you know what, the Dolly House mashup.
Yeah,
This is
mash
not
up.
going anywhere. Like who did say it? Who said it? Like Pauline said, the people in man now left our wife feel. Like you just have to come to you have to just
Yeah,
accept
I
what
never
is what.
thought of that one though.
Let me see Rose what Rosemary is saying.
Or move on
Or
to
move on to
new.
the new confession. I want to tell you the Rosemary. There are two poems in the book called Confession. There's Confession Part One
So
and Confession Part Two. This is actually Confession Part One. So you might
wow.
wanna go. You might wanna go. You might need to go cut the book and me have you on the show and we do Confessions Part Two.
Yes, and
Let's
you
see what
trust me, she
Pauline
will
is
give
saying
you a
here.
show.
Pauline is saying,
Yes.
yes, go and go look your own man. Stop obsess or stress yourself over
Over
somebody else,
something
man.
that could never be. With
With
this
with this deep meditation, like
must.
Yasha. See it
See
there?
there?
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes,
love the
Rosemary.
audience. I love the audience.
Yeah,
See,
man, may I
guys
have
love
Pauline and Rosemary upon it together. They look like they don't fit all kind of trouble. We're here for it. Now, let's
Yeah.
do this. On a perspective of looking at the things we've looked at so far in the poem,
Mm-hmm.
as well as looking at relationships in general, right? Are confessions usually better or worse for relationships?
It depends on the person
Mm-hmm.
and how much they can accept the person confessing to them
Mm-hmm.
or to yourself. Yeah. And then if the person is a confident person who knows that life just happens and, it happened and you just move on, it can be good. Where for me, I rather you confess to me
Mm-hmm.
than I go outside and hear it from somebody else.
Okay.
So I think confession it depends on who the person is, the personality, and what builds them up as a person, what they value and what they also cherish.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a relationship, you want to know who are you, so that, that's just, go ahead.
Let me ask you something here. So let's go with you know if Pauline and Rosemary. One of the bad behaving students them in our class. One of them had mentioned that a people man she did with, right?
Yeah.
Now you're saying that so in the scenario where she did with people man, it would be him that need to do the confessing to his significant other. So
Yeah.
are we therefore saying that it would be better for him to now go and confess to his significant other about this other individual? Is that what we're saying?
He should, but as we say, it depends on the person who is receiving the news.
Okay.
Because maybe the wife is not the person, who is forgiving,
Mhm.
and he might want to try, because he might, at that time, he might really want to break it off with that side chick.
Mhm.
But telling his wife he knows her, he knows that this is a divorce, right? He knows she's not going to have that mindset of even going to a counselor to think about it or anything. So as I said, it all depends on who is receiving the news.
Okay, so based on what, let me see if I can say this. Camille, if this is wrong, I apologize. I apologize if I'm saying your name right. But so, Camille, you're saying that confession is good for the soul, but is it good for the relationship? And like Pauline is saying, the confessor must be prepared for the consequences because when you confess, the consequence is not always forgiveness.
Exactly.
Let's see what Leanne is saying. They're saying in a relationship, one has to be fully honest. And we
Mm-hmm.
have to understand the value. We have to understand the value what one has with their
Your
partner.
point. Exactly. That's what I agree with all the responses, but Leon, I agree with her because that's my personality. I love honesty. No matter how I'm going to take it, share it with me. I'm big enough or strong enough. It's going to hurt, but I like you to confess to me, and let's see if we can even work. But if you have it in there and then, it's like 10 weeks from now or 10 years from now, and I hear it comes out, I'm going to wonder, I can't trust you again.
Mm-hmm.
You come to me when it happened and you said, this is what happened, and I've asked you for forgiveness. I know it's going to hurt. You give me time. And I'm speaking of my own self now. Give me time to process the confession,
Mm-hmm.
but don't expect to get wine and dining, right at the front, forefront. So
Right.
it's good to be honest, and I rather you be honest with me because it tells a lot about our relationship and
Okay.
where we are going in the future.
Leanne is again saying, Leanne is saying that, and just like Pauline and Kimi were saying, give them the choice, tell
Yeah.
them and let them make the decision as to what they want to do.
Mm. And you
Pauline,
should even
go
go.
ahead.
I was saying, and you shouldn't even have anything to confess because you have a commitment. So you shouldn't even be doing that to have anything to confess in the first place, anyway. But
Pauline,
things happen, life happens.
if I'm deducing Pauline's personality, Pauline, if you say better, then keep it from you. Guys, they tell you a straight kick to the curb. No, don't forget this now. Go on. You better
I'm
they,
good.
you better they keep it going as long as they can, because you are gonna kick them to the curb. That's what I think. True, but everyone in the relationship must be honest.
Yeah.
If there's honesty, it makes sense because it could lead to trust. I concur that I can agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Kamisha, how you doing, my dear? Thanks for joining.
Hi,
She's
Miss
saying hi.
Murray.
Oh, you know her too?
Yes, we work together at Ascot.
Really? We went to
Yeah.
high school together.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
Thanks. May I reach out to you, Kamisha, more up on the show when I'm ready?
Spoke.
Expect the backlash. Yes, the backlash is gonna come. The backlash is definitely going to come.
That's my
But
mom.
okay, so let's do this. Let me ask the question again. Now that we've vetted some of the perspectives, are we then saying that? Because the question was, are confessions usually better or worse for relationships? What's the verdict?
I may still stick to my answer, but I think it's good. It is good for the relationship. It
Okay.
is good. Yeah, I think that it's good for the relationship.
Roy, you're late though. Mm-mm. You're
Woman
late.
of God. Yes, hi God.
Is that what WOG is?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
Okay.
assuming that.
Do you know what? It make perfect sense, but me, I've never know acronyms. I don't use emojis. So yeah, but I agree. Okay, peoples. For y'all that joined late, when lucky, from over there, mix it up. Or should I
An
join a long
hour.
time? Or have a good check it out later. It all depends on what they're confessing. That's Pauline. I'm sure it is saying we want honesty, yet we can't handle it. There's also that. But then,
So true.
What does handling it look like, though? Because if somebody confesses and you're not prepared, somebody confesses and you're not willing to accept what they're confessing. Does it mean that you can't handle it? Or is it just that this is not something that you're going to sit for or you're gonna accept
Yeah.
based on the type of relationship that you are trying to build? Leanne is saying that if let me see, if the relationship has value, confession is good. Yes, there may be consequences, but be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? If it leads to, people going through the door and all that, then that's just what it is. Um, Now, listen now, Roy, my friend, you just need to spell out your word them. Spell out your word them.
Sister P.
You understand? You might be able to translate his shorthand. I don't know what I must say. Um, some things people can live with and forgive, but if them confess them catch. Pauline, go to the back of the class. Hold one of your foot on
I'm
one of your
still
ears. Hold one of
so
your foot on one of your ears at the back of the class,
worse
God.
than to get it.
Esther says she just wake, and Roy just wake. That's why I'm a right shorthand. All right, Roy. Make sure so you go back and check out the rest of the show because Natoya really represented today. All right, Natoya. Any last comments before we jump off this thing? Cause them bad behaving people in the class are gonna have it going all day.
Well, based on the confession or just general or
No, something whole. I don't know who she has something whole on me. Not
we
whole
don't know
me.
what
I mean,
either.
I hold something on her.
So I just want to say, based on confession, we went wide today. So but at the end we say confession is good for the soul. And you have to know your value. know your worth. And that's why in a relationship, when you're going in a relationship, you have to be whole. All right. So once you're both whole, um, you can't be pouring, you can't come in half and you come and pour out your half because you want to give all of you to your person. And the person is going to give all of them to you because it's a commitment. And then when you pour it all, you empty. So what do you give after that? So it must be a full thing, containment within yourself, be whole, know who you are, have value, know where you're heading, and both of you need to have a goal. And if you don't have a goal, then there's going to be need for confessions. Because if you have a goal together and
Right.
know that this is where we're going and this is where we're heading, you won't have time to mess up because you'll be working on the goal that you both have together. So that's just how I look at it. And I implore persons, don't try not to have confessions because it's really heart rendering when you want to forgive the person, but sometimes it might not happen. And especially depends on what it is. As Pauline said, it could be HIV.
Yeah, yeah. Bother with you,
I'll go
Pauline.
into
Not
that.
so
But
much.
it's serious though. The confession, be honest with your spouse. Be truthful, and if you're not truthful, then you in yourself is going to not trust your partner because you know in yourself you ain't doing that. So you're going to be always evaluating, and as the poem says, she's thinking and her mind is going into this momentum where she's confessing in her head, thinking that if she's doing that feeling, you must be doing that thing. Or if he's doing that feeling, he's thinking that he can't trust you either. Because if I'm
Right.
doing it, everybody is doing it. So back in the days, I don't know if they use it now in Jamaica, they said, all men are dogs. I still don't believe that. It's just the way you portray yourself and how value yourself. Yeah.
All right. Natoya, may I have fun, May I have a good time. I appreciate
Me
you,
too.
my dear. I
Yes,
appreciate you,
yes.
my dear.
Yeah.
And for the people that join late, yeah, man, go back and check it out. It's up on Facebook, it's up on YouTube. Check it out when you're ready. All right, Miss Perkins, it was lovely having you, my dear.
Same here. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, my dear. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, peoples. Me not drag out the show for a late bug, on a lucky. I see the comments them still are coming. Watch out. The show have to end soon now. But I like when the show ends like this, where the comments still popping and people are still engaged. Because that meant that we have a good show. Now, like I said, the poem we read tonight was Confessions. My guest was Natoya Perkins. The poem came from my book, which is back there. It's called Love, Life, Confrontation, Expression, Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man. And like you see, that's just one poem. And look how much trouble we get into. Look how much mix up we go in. Because that's just how the poems in the book are. They're real. They're about real things. They're about real people. They're about real life situations that affect people. So when you get a chance, check it out. Natoya has a lot of things going on. Natoya, please make sure you go in the comments and put all of this something so the people can find you and find your stuff and find what you have going on. And I appreciate everybody checking in, whether you checked in via YouTube or you checked in via Facebook. I do appreciate you. This is the Evening People Show. I'm your host, Martin Matthews. And what you're going to find out right now is that when it's time to go, we just be like out.